Hi there, survivors. The wait is over, and frankly, I think the fun pimps have finally been reading our collective diary entries a bit. Official confirmation on the version 2.5 update this December, and they are calling it the Survival Revival update. The developers long time ago confirmed that Bandits are not coming to version 2.5, and they have left them over for version 3, though of course they've been saying that for years, so only time will tell. Also, there is no crafting overhaul. There are currently no updates or changes announced regarding the Learn by Reading magazine system. This update is a direct response to the community feedback, so let's break down the changelog. Starting with the headline feature, Improved Water Survival 2.5 attempts to fix this with a hybrid system that they say hopefully is more balanced. In the early game, you are back to scavenging for jars. You can fill them with murky water from lakes, rivers, and ditches. You boil the water and you drink the water. The trade-off? Well, toilets and sinks are now completely dried up. No more free toilet water soup. The devs explicitly stated they wanted to bring back the immersive feeling of rummaging around looking for a jar. But they haven't abandoned the dew collector. That moves to a mid-game convenience for now. So the scramble for jars is what you do early on, and automate your water later on. From crafting level 16, you will be able to craft the dew collector. So they're trying to give us the best of both worlds, making early game more gritty. However, glass jars will still disappear into thin air, so they are not craftable and you don't get them back when you drink from them. Effectively, you will be eating your glass jar. Not a perfect system at all, but a bit better than before. So, thank you Fun Pimps for that at least. Next up, let's talk about junk. We have too much of it. Unless you use mods, our vehicles never have enough space. Update 2.5 is buffing vehicle storage across the board. Every single vehicle gets a default storage buff, so the 4x4 truck gets an extra 9 slots, and they are introducing vehicle storage mods as well. You can now install a mod that adds a full row, which is around about 10 slots to every vehicle, and you can stack 2 of these mods per vehicle. This means a fully storage modded 4x4 can now be buffed for moving into a town and scrapping the crap out of it. For the hoarders among us who refuse to leave a single brass candlestick behind, this is excellent. Oh yes, and there is apparently a visual display on the vehicle as well as you increase its carry capacity. Of course, it wouldn't be an update if they didn't try to kill us in a few new ways. We have 2 apparently lore-friendly zombie replacements coming in. First, say goodbye to the Plague Spitter. He's being replaced by the Plague Spitter 2.0, or correctly named the Rancher. This is grounded in the Navezgane, Arizona desert game lore, apparently. He will still have the bee swarm spitting attack. Pity, I hate that feature. Then there is a Frostclaw 2.0, and he is being swapped out for Chuck. According to the Fun Pimps, he is meant to fit the biome better. Chuck is in the snow, same as the Frostclaw was, and Chuck still has a boulder throwing attack. When I was growing up, my mother always used to moan at me saying, "Don't say Chuck." She would always say, "Don't say it." The correct word is throw. So I'm guessing someone on the dev team decided Chuck was the appropriate name for the throwing lumberjack. Next, an addition that no one asked for, but we are getting it. This was one of the systems that was removed from previous alphas, and even though some have said it would be great to have it back, it was not really something that anyone was harping on about. So, it is interesting that the Fun Pimps actually are bringing it back. A brand new smell system. While we still need to check out and test the exact mechanics, expect carrying raw meat to be a lot more dangerous now. Carrying 5 or more raw meat triggers a smell after a 10-second grace period. There is a HUD icon that displays the smell distance, which grows over time and increases with more meat that you are carrying. Once the maximum distance is reached, the smell lingers briefly before fading away. You can prevent or reduce smells by bundling your raw meat into a package. Apparently it's 5 per package. Or you can store it into containers or in your vehicle, or washing the smell off by submerging yourself into water. Many foods now produce smells when eaten, and eating multiple items will stack their smell as well. Even when you have dysentery issues now, crapping will create an odor, which I find quite hilarious for the game. JokeMod is going to have a field day with this. This will really be a great feature to tie in with JokeMod. If you're stewing up that new honey glazed sham, you might be ringing the dinner bell for every zombie in the chunk. Smells combine up to 100-meter maximum distance and are much weaker indoors, with only being about 20% of its effectiveness. 100 meters is pretty far, I must admit. That seems quite extreme, but anyway, we will see how this goes. So I'm guessing it will be better to set up your cooking system and your food stations in the center of your base, and also eat your food in the center. This should minimize or even eliminate the chance of it being smelt. Zombies can detect and move towards smells according to the game's AR smell mode setting, so you can switch it off if you want. But if not, you can then at least change the settings for the zombies that are smelling it. They can walk or run or sprint towards you once they smell the food. Even when you are in stealth, smells will also affect your stealth meter, and animal carcasses now attract more zombies further away, which means you may have to defend your meat much more often. The environment is getting a pretty big rework. Biome hazards are now more distinct. The burnt biome has smoke and ash, the desert has sand and dust, the snow has a brutal cold, and the wasteland, well, they have the toxic fallout. Now, this sounds like the survival options we are looking for. I do think many are not going to like this, but I say yes, this is a great opportunity for adding mods and clothing to your character to help survive the elements. This change has great survival potential. Storms have been reworked with a grace period. If you get caught in a storm without the right gear, you have 30 seconds to find shelter before the debuffs kick in. Zombies will be more aggressive during the storms as well, but also have a higher chance to drop loot. So there is a trade-off with having the storm, but I like the touch. Speaking of debuffs, hot and cold now have two tiers, regular and severe, a sweltering or a freezing, which will drastically punish your stamina and food consumption, for example. So the Fun Pimps have added back a very similar system to the old temperature setup that they had in the older alphas. So there are numerous things that affect this, such as the time of day, the shelter that you're in, the shade, the weather conditions, wetness, are just some of the factors that play a role in the player's core temperature. Gathering and wearing protective clothing increases the player's hot and cold resistance, which absorbs the various conditions to offset the player's core temperature. When it comes to the cold, holding a torch or standing by a campfire or consuming certain items will also boost a player's cold resistance. The clothing insulation items also come in 3 tiers. There's a tattered tier 1, a patchwork tier 2, and a thermal core for tier 3. Clothing has a quality level and no degradation, so you can keep looting and get better gear as time goes on. Besides the clothing, armor will also have armor insulation mods, and this will be on top of those clothing items, giving you better protection overall. The Darkness Falls overhaul was one of the mods that brought back hot and cold extremes to the game about 2 years ago. I really enjoy that extra aspect of survival, and I'm very happy that this is returning, and especially that it appears not to be too trivial or dumbed down that much. So, bravo, Fun Pimps, this is great news. To combat the infection and health issues, we finally have an apiary. You can produce your own honey now, which is usually a feature of most of the big overhauls out there. How the station has been missed from vanilla for such a long time is really, well, quite strange. And they've added new recipes as well. Honey tea, which cures infection, honey glazed sham, and honey brisket. And that brisket there is offering a whopping 150 food points. It is a tier 3 workstation, so from an infection point of view, not very worthwhile, as tier 3 crafting, hey, you should already have enough cures stashed away, and a lot of honey probably by that point already. Just a note, there is actually also a chicken coop coming at some point, but this is likely for 2.6 or later. The feature has been mentioned, presumably for collecting eggs and maybe feathers. Anyhow, the beehive is made up of these ingredients. They have said that the bees' wax comes from the same stumps that you used to hit up for honey, and you will possibly also get drops from the rancher, which is the Plague Spitter 2.0. They have also said that your beehive will require flowers or cotton to stay fueled and to keep your bees happy. Currently, the hive will produce 1 honey every 2 days and can be upgraded with a smoker, a brood box, and an extractor, which produces honey each day instead. If you don't include the smoker tool, then there is a chance that you will be stung by the bees when you open it. SnowBee approves this update. Finally, a vanilla honey system beyond just guzzling it raw. There are a few quality of life changes here too. Third-person camera will officially be supported in the game now. This is huge for seeing your character customization and also for navigating tricky platforming sections. Numerous settings will be added to the display settings menu, including a third-person field of view slider, camera distance, and ability to lock the camera behind you or have a more free orbiting camera. Buying those cosmetics and updating your character with pretty things can properly be seen at this point, not just for when you play in co-op. A radial quick actions menu is coming to the game as well. Hold a button down or tap it and it will display the radial menu showing things like dropping your weapon or changing the camera view and angle and possibly toggle equipment attachments. You will also be able to swap which camera you are looking from, either from your right shoulder or your left shoulder when you're on third-person view. Now, for the controller players out there, they've overhauled the bindings, removing the annoying scope zoom conflict, and there is also free cosmetic skins that are coming in, a holiday Santa hat and a new character window renderer, and a new model for Trader Jen. However, Jen's makeover may only come directly after the stable version is released. Turret system has been improved. You can now use all your ammo that you have. All versions of the ammo will now appear to be able to be added to the turret, and it will scale up to the better ammo being more powerful. So different ammo tiers will have an effect on how fast you kill a zombie. At a later point, they also said they will bring in piercing as well. So your armor piercing ammo will be effective in the turret, and this is really nice to see being implemented. Quests have been updated, not really the quests themselves, but how the quest system operates. So you should not be directed to a starter trader that has very few locations around him or her. There is a higher chance that you will be directed to a trader near a city or a town with closer POI. You will now get up to 7 quests that will be displayed for you to take, and it will have a more balanced mix of close POIs and medium POIs, and at least one that is very far away. This update, Survival Revival, feels like at least a step in the correct direction. Bringing back jars and deepening the survival mechanics with weather and the smell system will be excellent for the survival game it is supposed to be. The experimental build is coming out soon. I would think this week or next week at the latest. This is not just for PC only. Consoles will be getting this as well. The stable version is slated for probably before Christmas, which means that the consoles will get the stable version likely before Christmas. For PC players, you can get experimental. Just go to your game properties in Steam and choose the beta tab. It is not here right now, but you will see the experimental version and you can select that. Selecting it will then start the update to the experimental version. Thanks everyone for watching. Besides PayPal, I have added a Buy Me Coffee option for anonymous donations, and will finally be starting my Patreon soon. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.